Hi folks, welcome back to We the People. I'm Dave Gallus, your host, and today we have a very special guest, Ronnie Sisneros. He's running for Las Cruces City Council District 5. Now I've looked at the other candidates, and I think by the end of this interview you're going to know that Ronnie's the choice. He's going to be my choice, hopefully he's your choice too. So Ronnie, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
It's good to see you. Could you give us, let's see, I guess first the general area of District 5?
Yes, District 5 encompasses an area from Highway 70 going north. It goes around Red Hawk Golf Course.
Okay.
And then from that area it goes eastward to around Hangler Road and right around that area. And there is a couple of little distinctions in there. And then west it goes to Elks Drive. So the southern border is Highway 70.
Okay. How about a little bit of background on you? What qualifies you to run for City Council?
Well, I think one of the things that qualifies me to be a city council and represent the people here in Las Cruces is my profession is I'm an occupational therapy assistant, and I've been doing this for over 15 years. I work in a long-term care skilled nursing facility for 14 years, and then now I work in home health. And with that, you have to work collaboratively in a team effort with nurses, doctors, nurse practitioners, the family members, daughters, families, the spouses, as well as speech therapists, physical therapists, occupational therapists.
Wow.
And you have to have a sense of direction of what you want to accomplish. For occupational therapy, we work on goals and objectives, short-term goals and long-term goals. And I think that as a counselor, when I initially became interested in wanting to become city councilor, I reviewed it. I reviewed essentially the job description, right. And it said that a counselor has to develop in conjunction with the city manager a long-term vision for the health and prosperity of the city, and of course in my respective district.
Well, I can see that you can work with people. That's your background now. But also, I can tell by talking to you in the past that you will be listening to the people, which is something I don't seem to feel when I go to city council meetings. They give you lip service, but they don't really listen to what you're saying, and they certainly don't implement what the people want.
I agree. I agree 100%. That's one of the reasons, of the many reasons that I decided to run for city council, is because I believe that the people here in Las Cruces, the people here in District 5, are being ignored. The concerns that we have, the valid concerns that we have as citizens here, and living in a populous city, the second biggest city within the state, 115,000 within the city limits, and over 220,000 within the county. Las Cruces, and from all the research that I've been able to gather, that Las Cruces is only going to grow. So it's important. It's vastly important that we grow with a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of foresight, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that we need to change every single facet and fabric of this city.
Okay. Well, I'm going to hit you with some hard questions, and I hope you have answers for it. Now, one of my big issues, I was a retired policeman from Philadelphia. 25 years I spent. So to me, public safety is very, very important. I don't see that our city council is taking care of the citizens when you've got a double increase in violent crime during this present administration. We have a 200-person police force, and we are down 52 police that are not on the street. We only have a 75% police force, and violent crime is increasing. So, I mean, to me, public safety, you can't get any more important than that.
Absolutely. I have always endorsed the police, even when I was young. When you're young,
they were chasing me too.
You're somewhat rebellious because you may want to speed or whatever the case may be.
Test the envelope.
Exactly. But I never gave a hassle to the police department. I never did. And even though I might have gotten a speeding ticket now and again or seatbelt violation, I understood the reality is that they're individuals just like me, and they're trying to enforce the law, and I had to pay my fine just like everybody else had to do. So what has changed here in Las Cruces is a scope of a social agenda and a direction that is really, it's excuse the language, but for the police department, it seems like they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't.
Right. I wouldn't want the job.
No, I can't. There's no way. I'd be hard pressed to consider myself to be a police officer here, even if I was young, in the environment that exists, because it just seems that every opportunity that they're trying to take rights and literally and responsibilities away from them, all in the line of social agendas that are creeping across this country. But I, as a city councilor in District 5, I will not represent what's going on in Chicago. I will not represent what's going on the West Coast. I will represent what's going on here in Las Cruces, and that's it. That is, I think that's a difficulty, and that's a problem area that the recent councilors have had over these past 10 years, that they seem to want to represent everywhere else except Las Cruces.
Well, I don't understand people that don't support the police as far as the city councilors. When I was working the street, it's like that was so important, and you need a fair wage. I understand that they were starting wage of $18 an hour.
Yes,
I mean, this social engineering city council that we have now wanted to go for a $15 an hour minimum wage, and yet they're willing to pay only $3 more for a person that holds life and death in his hands or her hands. It's like, that doesn't seem realistic. But I don't even think it's that important as long as it's a fair wage, but it's the support of the administration. You go out there, you don't go out there trying to hurt anybody. You're out there for public safety. You want to protect people. So I don't think they hit the mark there. So
first and foremost, I'll go on record that is not a commensurate wage in comparison to what their job that they're doing. It doesn't even come close to it. You know, they should be able to start somewhere in the mid-20s at a bare minimum.
I would think.
And these are, I believe, there's sergeants within the police forces or research that. And sergeants are making like maybe 25, 26, and they've been in the police force for like 15 years.
Okay.
You know, why can't the police force, and why can't they make a good wage, a good living wage, so that they don't have to do secondary side jobs as security officers or whatever the case may be. You know,
there could be other incentives too. There could be tax breaks for a policeman or a policewoman that live in the city, and maybe real estate tax or something. Other incentives that doesn't translate into cash out. I don't know, but there's creative ways to come up with a solution.
Well, how City Council directly affects the Las Cruces Police Department would be through the city manager. The city manager is the top human resource personnel for the whole city, and how City Council what City Council would do is put that type of situation upon the city manager, that hey, we want the police officers to receive a commensurate wage in commensurate to their job, their job description, and commensurate to whatever the rest of the country is making.
Sure, anything local area, find out what they're making. Area. No, I understand. Well, and also the fire department too. I mean, I don't know how well manned we are with the fire department, but I know if you're not well manned and you don't have fire stations in a lot of areas, your insurance rates go up for fire. So so it's public safety to me is one of the most important things. But here's another question. How about businesses? I mean, we could use some in Las Cruces, I think.
It's in regards to businesses. One of the things that I have found out since I started my campaign is getting in touch with and meeting individuals who have businesses, and to me it's a travesty what I'm seeing. Undue regulation and burdensome regulations being placed upon these businesses, while at the same time, literally the very same time, either the governor or other interstate or municipal agencies are saying we've got to come together now and it's time to pick ourselves up off the bootstraps after COVID-19 and let's get going. How can they possibly get going if these undue and burdensome regulations are placed upon them?
And there could be tax incentives too for a startup business, something like that. And the good thing is that you're going to be employing people. Small business is the biggest employer of people.
Yes.
And if we don't have that, we're going to have a welfare city. We have a welfare state. So,
yes, unfortunately so.
Well, I mean, I just heard that there was a place that's going to reopen, the Corner Bakery.
Yes, yes, that's something, because Las Cruces, you know, one of the reasons that everybody loves Las Cruces, loves the historical reference to Las Cruces. Las Cruces, of course, is Spanish for the city of the crosses, and Las Cruces is it's a historical city going back hundreds of years in regards from its distinction from El Paso there in Texas. And so anytime any business that was a historical part of Las Cruces and comes back, that's always a pleasure to all of the citizens of Las Cruces.
And I hope the food stays as good. I heard it's a new owner, but it's always a real nice place to visit.
But he's been there a long time. He's been there a long time. Makes sandwiches for everybody.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's the start of something big. And when we get you into City Council,
delicious food as well. Delicious food as well.
The whole thing is, folks, we got to elect the right people so that we can build the business community, support the business community, support the police department and fire department. So, okay, here's another big issue for me. We got mental illness as a problem, and we've got drugs that are related. We've got homelessness that's a big problem. To me, it's all related to mental illness, but I don't see Las Cruces doing much of anything. From what I understand, any people that really need treatment need to go to Las Vegas, New Mexico to get treated well. So, I mean...
Well, you know, it's not that Las Cruces is not doing anything. They are doing some things. You know, everything that is going on with municipal government is not wrong here in Las Cruces.
Okay.
They are trying some things, and they definitely have been implementing things for many years, as a matter of fact. And you know, the gospel mission over in Amador, as of course the tent city, as we've seen an increase of homeless people coming into Las Cruces. But the only factor and the only thing that I would like to put in regards to that particular subject is, what are you doing with them thereafter? You know, are you? Yes, there's various organizations that are feeding them, absolutely. But what are they doing then to help them so that they can now feed themselves? Yes, there are people that they cannot physically take care of themselves. They cannot physically get a job, or even mentally. So that's a different thing altogether. But what about those that can do that can independently support themselves? We need to get a transitional movement. That's why I have that little background of occupational therapy. That's why I kind of come at it a different deal. Is we need to maximize of what it is that they can do as individuals, and make them as contributing members of this society here in Las Cruces. Las Cruces is a great city, and I love Las Cruces. You know, I'm not leaving Las Cruces. I've been here 17 years. I used to come here all the time in the 80s. Las Cruces was the place to go for concerts. I mean, everybody came here to concerts. Here at the Pan Am Center, and I was one of them.
Yeah, I think I saw Blood, Sweat, and Tears in the 60s.
Yes,
so
Prince was here.
Okay.
All kinds of the top groups used to come here to Las Cruces. And a lot of people ask, what happened to them, you know?
Well, imagine if the business community starts growing, that's going to bring employment, it's going to bring more people in, we're going to have more tax available because people that are working are going to be paying taxes, businesses will be paying taxes.
Yes.
So all around,
it's a win-win for everybody.
So
it's a win-win for everybody.
We should be a growth city.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to have to take a short break, and when we come back, I'd like to talk about the drug problems we have here in Las Cruces. So stay tuned, folks. Ronnie Sisneros, City Council District 5, and he is the man I'm choosing. I hope you agree with me. So we'll be back after a small break.
Hello, I'm Eloy Francisco Macha, candidate for School Board District 3. It is paramount for our schools in preparing our students for their pursuits, including university, trade school, or direct work, amongst others. Our school system needs to continuously meet the needs, skills, and demands of the evolving modern workforce. Join me in accelerating the modernization of our school systems to further prepare our students for the workforce of the future. I'm Eloy Francisco Macha, School Board District 3.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
Hi folks, welcome back to We the People. We're here today with Ronnie Sisneros, City Council District 5. Ronnie's my choice, and I think by the end of the interview, you'll agree with me. Ronnie, we talked about in the first segment, public safety, police department, fire department, businesses, reduced regulations, tax incentives to bring businesses in to employ our people here in Las Cruces. We talked about mental illness with the homelessness and the drug issues. But how about the hard drugs that are really killing our people? I mean, fentanyl, heroin, cocaine. I mean, this is bad stuff. So what do you see that's going on, and how do we fix it?
Well, I think that all you have to do is open your eyes and go outside, and you're going to see the drug problems. If you go to Walmart, if you go to any of these stores, if you go to if you visit the mall or any of these other places on a Saturday, you're going to see the level and the quantity of homeless people out there, and you know that they're living in deplorable conditions. What I like to reverse this back to is the police department. I think that the police department needs to do their job and be allowed to do their job more accurately. Be allowed to do their job. You know, I see no reason to try and reinvent the wheel. There's already laws in regards to loitering. There's already laws in regards to trash. There's already laws. All of that, this society is already set, and it has been set for actually hundreds of years. The society has already been set of what are community standards if you go out in the public and what you want to do or not do in the public. But you know, there's already standards that have already been established by smart individuals for decades. And we just need to enforce that and allow the police to do their job.
But we got to have enough police on the street to do
Absolutely.
that job, because we do have social services, and we have people that want to help the people with mental illness. But if you don't have the police that can interdict and bring these people in, whether it's loitering or whatever the issue is, that could bring a person to a facility where they need help and they want help, you need to have police to do that.
Yes.
And we don't have enough to do it. So, well, we're hammering on that. We need lots of police. I would like to say, I'm going to say, if I was running for city council my first day in office, I would put a moratorium on any hiring of city employees until every police vacancy is filled. Now, that's just a suggestion, Ron, but when you get up there.
Well, you know, one thing that I would say for sure, without hesitation, is that when I get elected to City Council District 5, this topic, idea, social agenda, whatever it may be, that wants to blame the police department for the ills and wills of the lawless, that'll stop with me.
Good.
That will stop with me, because I, as I've said in previous interviews, that I will not be an armchair quarterback to the police department. I will not. And you know, people can say this, you can say that, and you can say this or whatever. But I think that for the if you look at the people, I believe in general, wherever you go in the entire world, actually, people generally want to do what is good. People generally want to do what is good. Yes, there are some people that don't want to, and that's what the police department is for, is to get those people. And we need to let the police do their job. And as I was wanting to say here, reiterate, is we need to support the police department. None of this stuff of blaming the police department for everything, blaming for this, blaming for that. It's this one, he did this, and this one did that. That is just nonsense in my view.
You know, we have attorneys that can take care of bad police. I don't know of any in Las Cruces, but you know, if that happens, take care of it.
Yes.
And you know, prosecute if there's a
Yes.
problem. But to second guess,
as a whole,
nitpick,
yes, exactly. As a whole, to take the whole police department or sheriff's department or whatever, law enforcement as a whole, that is just
no systemic problem.
Exactly.
No, that's
ma'am.
ridiculous.
No, sir, I don't believe that one bit.
Here, a big issue I have is fiscal responsibility. What are they doing with our money? I mean, I hear about what, $4.1 million for electric buses to replace the diesel buses that we have. Diesels run forever.
Well, you know, Dave, that social agenda is creeping across this entire country in regards to changing over from fossil fuels to electric and battery operated types of machinery. You know, I have people myself calling me constantly. What they wanted me to be interviewed for. They want if I want solar in my house, and I said I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in that. Another topic came up here recently that they want to remove all the gas lines So to replace them with all of the homes, all the residential homes have electricity and remove the gas.
All electric.
Exactly. It's
well, maybe 100 years from now, maybe when the technology's there, but it's not cost effective.
No, exactly. How is that supposed to be cost effective when we're coming out of what? Where are we at now? 19, 20 months of COVID-19?
Yeah.
How are we ever supposed to get our head above the water when undue, unnecessary, and burdensome regulations are being inflicted upon the city of Las Cruces? They, like you said, millions of dollars for these buses. Millions of dollars for these buses.
4.1.
Okay. Now I hope, it is my hope, that the city thought about, okay, what's the infrastructure of maintaining these buses? Who are they going to get to maintain electric buses now? These are not diesels. These are not diesel buses. And I know diesel mechanics make a very good living.
Yeah, what's going to happen to them?
Exactly. What's going to happen to diesel mechanics?
All the employees that are going to be lost, are they going to immediately transition over to electric? I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they don't look down the line. They think, okay, this is great. This is what we want to do. We're going to change everything to electric.
Yes.
We don't have any money to start with.
Yeah.
So there's another thing, too. There was 4 key city employees, I mean top officials, that were fired because they blew the whistle on something that we don't even know what it is, because they had to sign a non-disclosure statement saying they won't say anything, but they got an award of $1.4 million. That's $5.5 million between the buses and that lawsuit. That could be spent in better ways, maybe hiring more police.
Exactly. Hiring more police, fixing these roads, exactly. Infrastructure within the city. Absolutely. So it comes down to some accountability. It comes down to accountability. You're taking the people's money. Yes, you're taking city money, municipal money, bond money, go bonds, whatever, taxes upon the homes, taxes that are levied upon the elderly as well. Taxes levied upon the elderly, additional taxes that are levied upon when you go to the grocery store. All of that kind of stuff. What is the reasoning behind that?
I think it's poor management of money.
Exactly.
There's another thing I heard. What was it? It was a fellow that was arrested for drinking and driving. He's suing the police, and I think he got the award for $180,000 because he said he was roughed up. Now, I imagine he would have roughed somebody up in a car crash if he would have had an accident.
See, that's kind of exactly another reason why I'm running for office, because these are unrealistic views, in my opinion. These are unrealistic views to attack a problem. When you want to attack a problem, or analyze a problem, you need to think about solutions. You don't need to necessarily think reactionary. Everything does not have to be reactionary, and then entire segments of our society are affected as a result of that decision.
Right.
This is what is happening here in Las Cruces. Because something happens here, then this person says, well, I'm going to go ahead and sue. I'm going to get me a lawyer. Well, you know what? If I may say, when I came here to Las Cruces, I was so proud when I came here, like I said, to live permanently. You know why I was, Dave? I was so proud to live here in Las Cruces, because there was an individual, and he was from an eastern state. I can't recall which one it was, but it was many, many years ago. And he came here and he said he wanted all of the city vehicles to have all of the signs of the crosses to be removed, even though it was a city emblem. He wanted them to be removed from all the city vehicles because he said that was a separation, and he didn't want that.
Oh, church and state.
Exactly. He didn't want that on any of the city vehicles. And you know what the city people, the city leaders here in Las Cruces told him? Hit the road. And you know what? And I was even so proud of my state, because he even went to the New Mexico Supreme Court, and they told him to hit the road.
Good.
You know what? Because the fact of the matter is when we come back to history, what we're talking about, it kind of ties into either are you happy with where you're at and where you're living?
Right.
I love Las Cruces, and I want to represent the people here in Las Cruces. I want to stand up for them. And we need to be proud of our city, and we need to stand up for our city and say, you know what, if you don't like Las Cruces, There's
Hit
the
the
door.
road.
And that's what they told this guy, to hit the road.
Well, that's good to
and
hear.
he did. And
We
it
had
was-
somebody, well, I know you're going to be that type of person too when you get in city council. The one thing we didn't talk about, and I've ran over some potholes, I've busted tires, the streets conditions are not good here, and that's one of the jobs of city council. So I hope you're going to address that when you're in office.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many people that I have talked to through over these past months, actually, that have said, Ronnie, what are you going to do over here on Mesa Grande? What are you going to do when all, I don't know if you've ever driven by Mesa Grande at 8 o'clock when they're walking to Oñate High School.
Oh, the students,
yes,
yeah.
And there's just hundreds of them. And this guy was telling me, he goes, there's no sidewalk. I'll be honest, I live a little bit further, what would that be, west from Mesa Grande. And I'll be honest, I didn't quite believe him. I was like, oh, there's got to be sidewalk there. But you know what? I drove out there and there is no sidewalk.
That's dangerous for the students.
There is no sidewalk. There's sidewalk about 2.5 blocks down the road.
Now you're talking lawsuits. A couple of those students
almost
get
at Hengler, almost Engler Road.
Engler, oh my gosh, yeah.
And there's some sidewalk there, but anywhere else where they're coming close to the school, coming close to Highway 70, there is no sidewalk.
Right.
So they're walking in all that mud and water and sludge and water pools and everything else.
Ronnie, the show's just about over, but I just want to remind the folks that early voting has started. You can go to the county building on Motel Boulevard, and I believe the hours are from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. But on the 16th, then you'll have 3 other locations, which is Sonoma Ranch Elementary School, is City Hall next to Brannigan Library, and what's the other one? New Mexico State University at Corbett Center. And those hours, I believe, are going to be 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. But if you vote early and you vote in person, there's less chance of any questions about whether or not our election was fair and honest. So we want fair and honest elections. We hope that that happens. But if you vote early and in person, you put that ballot in, better chance that your vote is going to be counted. So Ronnie Sisneros, City Council, District 5. Ronnie, you want to say anything in the last couple seconds?
Well, I'd like to say I need your support. I'd like you to come out, and exactly I want to reiterate what Dave was saying here just a few moments ago. This is the time. This is the time to stand up. As they say in Spanish, es hora de levantarse. And what I mean is ya bastante por eso, which it means enough is enough of all of this social agenda. We need the people of Las Cruces to stand up and stand up for your rights. And how you can do that within this society, within the United States, is going to vote. So go vote. There is no excuse anymore.
Ronnie, it's been a pleasure. Good luck.
Thank you.
I want to see you up on that dais.
All right, I hope to be.
We'll see you next week, folks.